So welcome to Spiritual Psychology, and I'm excited today to talk to Dr. Sage Carpenter, who's a medical intuitive and sound healer that I have had the privilege of doing some personal work with. And we're going to see where this healing conversation wants to go. So Sage, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for inviting me.
So I like to kind of start with, how did you get into this work?
Well, during my own healing crisis, I had to do a lot of personal work on myself, which takes you inward. And in that, the divine source started communicating with me. I've always heard the divine source's voice ever since I was born, ever since I was little, and always had these. I could always see the other realms and other dimensions. And but through as you know, as we get older, we kind of start shutting that stuff down. And then I had my own healing crisis. And actually was told, my family was told to make arrangements that I wouldn't make it through the night. And
How old were you?
I was 28.
So intense. Oh my God.
Yes. And I actually, I didn't want to be on the planet anymore, so I was happy to leave. but then as I left, I met Jesus, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, and they told me I had to come back. I was not happy. Where a lot of people, they have those experiences, they're all really happy. I wasn't, but it put me on the journey of healing for the next 5 years of intense daily healing groups and therapy and stuff. Today I'm very, very grateful for. And I am, of course, universe always puts us with whom we need to be with that can really support us and help us. And I had a great team of people that I was working with, and they recognized the wisdom that was flowing through me that I thought was just normal for everybody. And they recognized that it wasn't. And they started bringing that more forward, asking more questions, more spiritual questions, and these amazing answers would come out that I'd go away with, wow, kind of thing. So that's kind of how it started. And then as I was getting stronger and did a lot and healing and was really listening to the divine source's voice and being guided to start doing groups and stuff. And so I started doing groups and workshops and start traveling around doing healing workshops. In that process, I'm sorry, I'm messing up here a little bit, but in this process, this energy of vortexual energy of love came into me. And I started using it to help people heal, and had incredible results of people healing and during sessions and stuff, and then I was asked to start traveling and doing workshops. So I started doing that. And then I was at a workshop in Atlanta, Georgia, with a group probably of a little over 100 people. And I'm doing my thing. And the divine source said, okay, I want you to do sounding now. And I go, you want me to do what? I'd never heard of sounding. I'd never experienced it. I didn't have a clue what I was being asked to do. So source said, just open up your mouth and breathe out and I'll do the rest. And that's where the sounds started coming through. They are incredible, as you know, completely out of this world. They're not of this world or this dimension. And so I started traveling, doing sound healing at this point, and had the privilege of experiencing for the next several years of just traveling all over North America and watching people with the sounding, watching them have spontaneous healings, spontaneous awakenings, personal experiences with divine source, And a lot of people that would come in with depression would leave without depression, and it never came back. Anxieties would go away and never come back. And so that was the beginning of this beautiful, amazing journey that I have been on.
You know, I love how healers, for me, I don't know if I want to call them real healers, like if they're fake healers, maybe there are, but people, because this is my experience too. Like I came to this because I had no other choice, right?
Right.
I came to my work because I was, for myself, I was a train wreck. For me, it was through addiction and all kind of internal, emotional and mental suffering and all kinds of dysfunction in my life, being a petty criminal and all kinds of craziness. And so, you know, first it was getting clean and sober and starting this inner journey, and then realizing like the real inner self transformation and elevation and healing and purification, and to take this like rock and polish it up into some kind of a gem that could be used for others' benefit, right? And this idea of like that we receive and then we need to pass it on to other people is really the gift of this flow that we get into. That is so, it's a gift, right? And a gift that we give.
It is.
Yeah.
I cannot not do what I do.
Yeah.
You know,
and we love
and
what
I love
we do. Yeah.
I love what I do, you know.
Yeah,
it's my passion, it's my soul.
Yes.
You know, I hear people talk about, well, your work isn't who you are, and I'm like, yes, it is. You know, if you're doing your work, it is who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
Or for me anyway.
Well, I think to really, you know, having been lost, particularly in the job world for a very long time, and feeling like what's wrong with me, and I hate work, and then really, I think, and I know you agree, that we all have a part to play here in this big system that we're in. And when we find it, and it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't, I mean, it may be childcare, it may be walking dogs, it may be caring for flowers, right? But when we find the thing that really aligns with our soul, we're happy and we're fulfilled and we're healthy and things flow. Yeah.
Yes.
So great. And we often need a crisis to bring us, if we're really far over here. I know I was.
Yes.
You're like, wait a minute, you're gonna come way back over here.
Yes. Yes. I was, at the time, I was barrel racing professionally.
Wow.
Yes, I rodeoed for many years and was doing it professionally, had an amazing barrel horse. And actually my first conscious experience of oneness, get a hold of this, was at a professional barrel race in front of 5,000 people. During our barrel racing run, I had my first experience of oneness throughout that whole barrel race. Isn't that amazing?
Do you do work with horses? It's funny because I've actually been talking with some people that do horse work for healing and spirituality and stuff.
I do for myself, you know. I love what I do and the sound healing and stuff like that. I've been asked if I would do stuff with horses, and I'll do healing on horses. But as far as doing like emotional release work or therapy, emotional therapy with horses or my horses, I leave that to other people. I'm kind of selfish. I like my intimate relationship with my own horse, and I don't want to share her.
Well, we need to care for ourselves and know what our boundaries are. Absolutely. No, I think that
she's my therapist. You know, riding her out on the trails. I don't barrel race anymore, but going out into nature and just riding trails with her, you know, she just fills my soul.
That's so awesome. So let's talk a little bit about intuitive healing or being a medical intuitive. That's something that's always been fascinating. It is not a skill that I have. I have my own kinds of sight more in the psychosocial, emotional realms where I can see, but the body is really this place that I'm interested in growing. I have some of my own healing work, as you know. We've been working on my legs and my lower body kind of chronic issues with that, and so this is a new application for me, and I'm curious about how that works for you, or what your experience of how that's evolved.
Okay, so how the medical intuitive part came into me was shortly after my healing crisis, and I was like back into the world. My first experience was I just walking down the street, and all of a sudden I saw cancer on somebody, and I went, "Whoa!"
Wow.
And then all of a sudden I started looking around to people, and I could see heart disease. I saw diseases in people's bodies, and it was freaking me out, you know.
I bet.
And
You
you know,
never.
yeah, right, you know. And I'm just like, oh my, I'm going crazy here. you know, and I was still in therapy with my groups and stuff, and so I was sharing with them what was happening. I'm like, y'all, I got a brain tumor. I know I have a brain tumor. Something's going on, and they're like, no, this is what we think this is, So they started helping me to develop it, and encouraging me to experience it, and just let's talk about it. Let's see what would go on. So I started doing that, and like I said, everywhere I go I could see diseases in people. And so finally one day I during my meditation I went to divine source, and I said, all right, obviously I'm not getting rid of this. So if I'm going to have this, I want solutions. There's got to be solutions here, because this is not okay. I'm just seeing people sick, they're dying, and there's no point in this. So
right. That's a bummer. Right.
Right, exactly. So if I'm going to be doing this or seeing this stuff,
right.
I want answers. I want solutions to help these people. So then it started evolving, and it went into where when I would see stuff on people, I would get like a download, for lack of better words, of what they needed to do to change it. So now all my, since then, I've been doing this for over 30 years now. And, it's about doing the medical intuitive part, seeing the diseases, but I get the information of what they need to do specifically. Simple, exact, point to point solutions or steps that they need to take to change their life on whatever it is that's going on with them.
And how does the sound work fit into that?
Okay, so then I use it for healing, but what I found after a few years with doing individual sessions, what I discovered is every single human being has their own unique sound of perfect health, of perfect wholeness. So then I started hearing that sound, and what I found is when I gave that to that person and they started using it, as well as doing sound healing with me, they started healing. Lives started changing. Their thought patterns would change. It's kind of like their whole being would change. And my specialty is cancer, and so people would come to me when they were given 6 months or less to live, sometimes a year. And as we started working, and they started working with their own perfect health sound, they started feeling stronger, and they started feeling more hopeful, and their bodies started healing. And like today, over 90% of those people are not only alive, but they're cancer free, which is so awesome, and I love working with cancer. I work with all diseases, but I have found over the years, for me, that cancer is the easiest disease to help people heal from.
Think more about that. What's easy for you about healing cancer?
That's kind of hard to explain. I just find it easy. I find cancer gives up easy, you
Mm.
know, easier than other diseases, especially like your neurological diseases and muscular, dystrophy and MS and stuff. There's a lot. It's a lot different. Cancer cells are more willing to give up and be absorbed and let go and allow new cells to come in, perfect health cells to come in. And so I have just found that it's easier for people to heal from. And I don't see it as a disease. I see it as a health crisis, right? A moment of change, a moment of your body saying, stop, this is wrong. You're going in the wrong direction. You need to turn, and the work that I do individually with people is help them re-navigate their life, change it.
On a cellular level.
On a cellular level and an emotional level as well.
Right, of course. And so is there anything that you could suggest for people that they might be able to practice or learn or open to this for themselves, or any resources? I know certainly we're going to give them opportunities to be able to work with you and the resources that you have. But is there anything we could offer people at home about bringing more health or awareness into their own bodies?
Well, humming is so powerful. In fact, the Mayo Clinic of Rochester, Minnesota, did, I don't know how many year study, like a 12, 15-year study on the power of humming and how it changes people's cells. And they use it specifically for like colds, flus, COVID, viruses. They found humming will destroy all viruses if people just hum.
Does it matter where you are on the scale, like humming deep? Is it different than humming high?
No, just hum. Just you using your own vocal cords and just hum. And you can look it up. I can also give you the links to the results of that. But it's just humming. It affects the body in such an amazing, powerful way. I forget what it creates, but it works on the sinus, the sinuses, and it works with the whole viruses. It destroys viruses, and it builds the immune system in the body so that viruses don't take hold in the body. In fact, when COVID first came out, the Mayo Clinic reissued or reinstated the humming effect and put it out publicly for people to hum to help protect themselves.
So how long would you, if people were going to hum, which actually reminds me a little bit of like chanting, or when people say, we've kind of gotten away from making our own sound. We're used to just listening to other people's sound, but making those vibrations within our own body, right?
Right.
Is an ancient practice. And what would be kind of an optimal home practice of humming?
Like humming for health, I would say hum for 3 minutes.
Awesome.
Just 3 minutes.
Humming for health. We might call this episode Humming for Health. I've never ever heard of that. And it's here are these simple things that we have within our own ability to shift the resonance in our body. I'm imagining that's kind of what's happening. There's some, like when we're humming, we're creating a vibration. Is that some of what's happening, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Everything is sound. And just like somebody has their perfect health sound, it helps when they do their own perfect health sound, what it's telling its body is rise up, come back to the frequency, the vibration of perfect health. And so then that person's cells start to vibrate and return back up to those higher levels. And also, like with the body, with diseases, it's allowed imperfect cells to accumulate in the physical body. When sound comes in, your perfect health sound, or the sounds that, or any sounds that you're using for healing with intention, what it does is takes those imperfect cells and knocks them off, and helps the body to recognize them as imperfect cells. Therefore, the body reabsorbs them. You know, our body naturally produces imperfect cells, thousands of them every day. But our body recognizes those cells as imperfect cells and reabsorbs them and replaces them with perfect health cells. So in illnesses, diseases, the body does not recognize those cells as imperfect cells. So when you come in with sound or use your perfect health sound, it's like it vibrates them off from their hiding place, or helps the body to recognize them, like, oh, that's an imperfect cell. Therefore, it will reabsorb it and replace it with a perfect health cell. So that's how the body heals. And that's where sound comes in, and sound healing comes in. I mean, you know, sound healing is ancient. You know, it's been on the planet for forever. And we've gotten away from that. Like you were saying, we've gotten away from it. And we have been taught to go outside our body instead of inside. You know, we've been taught even holistically. And I'm not saying that this stuff isn't beneficial, you know, because until we really understand how to work with our body, you know, acupuncture, chiropractic, I do it still, you know, when I need that extra support. And at the same time, I'm going internally. I'm using sound. You know I hear the sound that I need for myself. And when I'm doing sound healing for others, I again just open up and allow the sounds to come through. I am not in control of the sounds. And the sounds that come through are meant for that particular moment for that person. Because every time I do sounding, it's different. As you're aware, right? You know, the sound we have done, it's always been different. Yeah. You know, and so the sounds will come in for whatever that person is needing in that moment to heal and to return to perfect health. And our bodies are always wanting to be perfect health. They're always working towards perfect health.
And so I'm going to say we want to encourage people to take a risk. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed, you know, making noise. Like, find a place you feel safe and comfortable, and just kind of open up and see what comes. Maybe even play with it a little bit. And that, because we all have intuition, we're all connected. Yes. Some of us have a bigger speaker that we hear what's coming through than others, right? But we're all connected, and to just trust with whatever that comes up in that humming, in that sounding for yourself, is the right thing that you're supposed to just do. What feels good, I think, would probably be. Is that?
Yes. And I say, play with humming. You can't hurt yourself. Play with it. Go up and down, and you'll feel it vibrate in your body.
And so is it helpful when we're healing with humming, to pay attention to different type places in our body? Like, where's it a good place to have your intention when you're doing your own sound healing?
I would say especially with humming, when you first start, focus on your throat and heart chakras, or areas of your body, and then play with it, because sound works with intention. Wherever we set our intention, that's where the sound's going to go in our body. So do the humming, and then focus it to your knee or your thigh or your back or your shoulder. You know, move it around so that you are getting in tune with your own body and hearing your own body.
I love that. And the body likes it when we spend time with it.
Yes, it does.
Give it attention.
The body knows exactly what it needs to heal. We just need to listen to it, because it will tell us exactly what it needs to do. what it needs to heal.
And so how can people learn to listen to their body? That's a big question.
Wow, that is a big question.
question.
I say tuning into it, just like meditating, tuning in. I know to this day I do a practice of I call it my body release. And I just stand up and I just relax and let my body go. And next thing you know, my right arm will turn in, my left arm will turn outward. It's all very slow motion. And then next thing you know, I'm like a pretzel on the floor, releasing any stuck energy in my body or emotions stuck in my body. So that's what I do. And that's what got me into my body, was just tuning in and listening to it. Let my body move without me controlling it.
No, I think that what you just described is really important. And because we do get stuff stuck in our body, we do hold unresolved emotional issues and trauma and bad feelings about ourselves, and all kinds of unresolved stuff can get stuck in our body. And a lot of people don't want to be in their body because there's all that stuff in there they don't know what to do with.
Right.
And
right.
Just being able to release, we don't necessarily have to live through it again or any, it's just like release it out, find however you can do that, you know, even if you're just shaking yourself out, and let that energy, the emotions, you might emote, have your feelings, and just let that flow. I like to call it, it's like going to the bathroom, right? If we energetically or emotionally, we have to allow ourselves to kind of go to the bathroom and let it go. Otherwise we get all constipated and that feels terrible, right? So just allowing that energy to flow out, go down into the toilet or wherever it goes, and then we can be clear and clean. And so just being in your body and listening to it and letting the body move, developing a conversation with our body.
Yes. And also giving sound. Give sound to your emotions. A lot of my work is around releasing those stuck emotions or feelings, emotions, thoughts, belief systems that's stuck in the body. And so what I'll have my clients do is feel into that, and I'll hear what the sound is. And together we will do a sound release. And it just flows out, whatever it sounds like. Sometimes it's just a kind of thing. And in fact, people can start with that. Just feel into your body or feel into any pain in your body, and just start with and then let it take over. You know, and I have found that to be one of the most powerful healing tools I use with my clients.
You know, I can imagine that I get a big mouth and I don't mind making noise, right? But I can imagine, I can imagine though, for a lot of people, like we're shushed starting at a very early age. We're told to be quiet, you know, still, although no one says children are seen and not heard anymore. That's still the thing, you know, you're in school, nobody wants to hear you. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And so being able to open up and make the sound and to release in that way is the opposite direction that most of us, I think, operate, where we're putting stuff in and packing it down.
Yes. And that's why I do it with them. And then eventually they start feeling comfortable enough to do it on their own and to do it in between sessions, and they heal because that stuck energy is gone. And then so the body can return to perfect health.
Sage, I just love that. It's so simple. It's so practical. It's so doable. And, you know, I love the work that you do. And you have such a bright light and heart that you're sharing with the world. It's really awesome.
I tell people, actually, physical healing is very simple. And it'll be the most challenging thing you'll ever do in your life, because you have to change your life. You know, if you want things different, you have to make different choices.
I love that. Sage, so great and beautiful and wonderful to talk to you in person. Usually
Yes.
Sage works on the phone, so we've done a lot of phone work together. I didn't get to see your lovely face until today. And tell
Yes.
people how they can get in touch with you, and we're going to put all that in the show notes as well.
I have a website. It's drsagecarpenter.com. And it's all lowercase, and you can go there, and all my phone numbers, emails are right there, and you can contact me with any questions. I'm always happy to respond and try to answer anyone's questions or thoughts or fears. Feel free to contact me anytime.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sage. And
Thank you.
blessings on your work, and you're going to hear from me soon for another session.
All right. Blessings. Namaste.
Namaste.